Hello, welcome back to the Premier League review. On today's show, we're going to be diving into Arsenal's 3-0 win away at Fulham, but also talking about the refereeing controversy in Man United's 0-0 draw with Southampton. So let's start with that. Let's start with Manchester United's game at home in the Premier League against Southampton. Erik ten Hag continued with the 4-2-3-1 structure, with Bruno Fernandes deep in midfield playing as an 8, with Jadon Sancho higher up operating as the number 10 behind Weghorst. United created some good opportunities in the first 15-20 minutes of the game. Marcus Rashford being played through by Bruno, Wout Weghorst having a chance. But then, of course, the game changed through the red card to Casemiro following a VAR call on 34 minutes. Let's have a little bit of a look at that decision, and I'll kind of weigh up whether the referee was right to send Casemiro off. So I was at Old Trafford for the game on Sunday, and in real time, for me, it looked like a foul, maybe a yellow card, not really kind of dangerous, didn't look like it was a use of excessive force, but obviously the referee got a different angle. Casemiro, of course, coming in for a challenge with Alcatraz, wins the football with his studs up, but then his foot kind of rolls off, kicks off over the ball, and goes pretty high onto Carlos's shin. Again, looking a little bit dangerous. Real time with the referee, of course, he booked Casemiro and then went to VAR. I think one of the problems with VAR is the consistency. We saw an incident in the Leicester City-Chelsea game where there could have been a red card in that match for a pretty worse challenge than this. I think one of the problems is that VAR straight went to this angle, which very much looks like it is serious foul play. It looks like it is a use of excessive force and could injure the opponent. Again, if Casemiro catches Alcatraz in the wrong thing with the foot planted, could be a bit of a leg break. This, of course, was the referee Anthony Taylor saw this angle first, which kind of shows Casemiro roll over the football into a really high position, dangerous play. I think it changes the game. I think a yellow card probably would have been fair. I think Casemiro is looking to win the ball. I don't think there's use of excessive force. He's got one of his feet on the ground, one is high, of course he should Stowen, but I do think it is a yellow card offence versus the red card offence that was given by Anthony Taylor. I think the consistency is the key thing in the Premier League. VAR is going to be used, and we're going to go back and look at different moments in the game and referee them in different ways. The consistency is the most important thing, and I think that also comes to the rules. Of course, the other incident that we're going to talk about in this game is the handball. It's a blatant handball that stops Wout Weghorst receiving a pass inside the penalty area by Bella Kotchamp, and it clearly strikes him on the forearm. The one potential out for VAR, you could say here, is that he's using that hand to maybe support him as he's falling over, but at the same time, it's looking at that red card decision, that being poorly officiated, then this second one being poorly officiated, in my opinion, blocking basically a certain goal with his arm. It is a handball. Whether we need to change the handball law, I think that's quite something that's been talked about a lot. But in these situations with VAR, that has got to be a penalty. Looking at other instances in the Premier League, the Liverpool game, Liverpool won a penalty after Smith handballed it in the box. And he obviously is using his hands for leverage to get himself up, but strikes his arm as Diogo Jota is heading the ball back across. And it's a similar situation that the Man United game, clear sort of penalty, handball, makes no sense. And that is a frustration that I had this weekend in the Premier League. But going back to the game, Man United had a few chances. Luke Shaw on the back post. Bruno Fernandes hit the post from a shot from outside the box. And Bruno's role as this 8 is really interesting. It's something that I thought profile-wise Bruno would do a little bit later on. But we're already starting to see him really dictate the game. Created himself 2 chances, 1 big chance, completed 4 out of his 10 long balls, hit the woodwork, had 3 shots on goal, and made 3 tackles. I think it's interesting to see Bruno's development and him playing this deeper role. I think it kind of worked really well when Casemiro was on the pitch, and of course Bruno kind of was playing as basically the holding midfielder at points in the game. In a pre-match interview going into the game, Erik ten Hag said about Bruno operating deeper in midfield. We've seen on Thursday night, again against Real Betis, how good Bruno was acting in that position. He can play that role. We had confirmation from Thursday night, now he has to do it again. But Bruno has a wide range of ground to cover, and he has a lot of energy and likes to do it. And it's difficult to defend for the opponent when you have that dynamic in the midfield. And I like the midfield that Erik ten Hag started for Manchester United. Jadon Sancho, playing as a roaming 10 with Bruno in midfield. In the first half, Jadon Sancho was absolutely fantastic. Topped the charts of Manchester United in a number of metrics. Jadon Sancho in the first half versus Southampton had the most ball recoveries, most passes completed in the final third, most tackles won, and most dribbles completed. I think his role in that position is good. We know that he likes to kind of have that ability to have players in and around him, the combination play, the 1-2s. He slid Marcus Rashford through inside the first half as Rashford raced through and his shot was saved. I think it's a position that I like with Jadon Sancho. But going forward for Manchester United, of course, Casemiro now has a 4-game ban. The statistics with and without Casemiro are a little bit daunting. With Casemiro, Man United have won 76% of their games compared to 43% without Casemiro. Their goals scored per game is 1.9 versus 1.7 without him, and goals conceded 0.9 versus 1.7 without Casemiro. From a tactical perspective, Erik ten Hag has got to kind of weigh up how he fits the midfield. What I would like to see, Marcel Sabitzer coming into that holding role and playing a midfield of Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes and Marcel Sabitzer. I think that will give United such quality on the ball. I think in the next few weeks, the game's coming up against weaker opponents in the FA Cup, in Fulham, but also in the Premier League in the 3 games that Casemiro will miss. I think United going very ball-dominating side could be really good. I would also like to see how United can kind of move their possession play around with someone like Sabitzer, Bruno operating deep with Jadon in between the lines. I think long term that's probably a midfield that could see United through a really tricky patch of form without Casemiro in defensive midfield. But guys, get in the comments below who you think should come in to replace Casemiro for Manchester United following his red card. Anyway, let's move on to talk about Arsenal. Arsenal made light work of Fulham in the Premier League on Sunday, with Mikel Arteta picking up his 100th win as a manager. In 167 games, Arteta has won 100, drawn 24, with his win rate around 60%, scoring 1.8 goals per game and conceding 0.5. So let's dive into the game. I'm going to take a look at Arsenal tactically, how they operated with Leandro Trossard as a number 9. Trossard's signing has been an absolute masterstroke for Arsenal. Is really changing their forward line with his movement and ability to drift, but also some really creative passing. Trossard picked 3 assists up against Fulham in the Premier League and was very, very good in between the lines, but also out wide. I think tactically, we've said this before, but Trossard as the 9 for Arsenal makes Arsenal so much more unpredictable. We know that he's going to operate in the wide areas at times with Martinelli inside, but what I liked about his performance against Fulham was he drifted to the right, got involved on the right-hand side of the pitch, also linked with the midfield runners in Granit Xhaka and Odegaard, forming a really dominant triangle in that area. And I think going forward, Arsenal with Trossard or with, Gabriel Jesus are going to be very, very difficult to stop in the Premier League. I thought Fulham would be a difficult test for them, but they blew Fulham away in the first half with a combination of passing, play and development. I think one of the best things that we've seen from Arsenal in recent weeks is their ability to just play through the lines so simply. There was so many times that they drew Fulham into them. Fulham obviously are quite a high pressing side, ball-orientated pressing side. But the amount of times that Arsenal drew them in with some possession around the back, using the likes of Gabriel, Saliba, Zinchenko, Thomas Partey and Aaron Ramsdale, and then instantly found an out ball to the other side of the pitch, usually a Granit Xhaka, to link the play through, and it was absolutely fantastic. Created some really good moments. So let's have a look at some of those moments. I thought Arsenal were brilliant on Sunday. So back to that point of drawing Fulham over to one side and then hitting them where it hurts on the other side. This is Arsenal's second goal of the game, and we can see how well Arsenal have pulled Fulham over to the right-hand side of the pitch, opening up a humongous bit of space for Granit Xhaka. Fulham obviously a very high-octane team, very difficult to play against, but the way that Arsenal scored them shows the quality that Mikel Arteta's side have. So we pick up the play with William Saliba on the ball. As we mentioned, Arsenal have already drawn Fulham in. We can see Fulham's 3 attackers plus their 3 midfielders high up the pitch being drawn onto Arsenal's deep possession play, which opens up massive space with the switch. Just before this move, we saw a little bit of rotation between Trossard and, of course, Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli was defending on the left flank. Then he put some pressure inside, so Trossard filled in. So this is a bit of possession after that moment. So as Arsenal look to switch the play through Saliba, wonderful pass to Granit Xhaka, instantly committing a 2v1 on the Fulham right back. In this situation, Xhaka drives through, drawing in pressure and then releases Trossard. What I love about this little move from Trossard is the way that he stops the defender and then starts again. Similar to how Lionel Messi carries the football with those kind of like short, jinky, agile moments of dribbling skill. It was absolutely perfect to unlock the door. Trossard runs the defender, little jink, bursts past him and whips the perfect ball into the box for Gabriel Martinelli, playing as the nominal striker, to give Arsenal the lead. Gabriel Gabriel Martinelli's 23rd goal for Arsenal under the age of 23. Only Saka has scored more goals. But moving forward to some more play from Trossard, this is more false nine in the middle, linking the play with runners from midfield. We pick up the play with Thomas Partey intercepting the ball in midfield. Arsenal were superb off the ball against Fulham as much as they were on the ball. They won the ball in these areas a few times, which led to these really good quick transitional passing moves. Partey's intercepted, plays into Odegaard's feet. Odegaard checks inside and then looks for the ball to Trossard. What I love about Arsenal and how they sort of unlocking doors at the moment is there's a lot of third man runs, a lot of movement off the ball. This time Granit Xhaka bursting through midfield as Trossard finds him with a really nice first time ball in behind. Unfortunately, Xhaka's touch isn't quite good enough and the keeper wins the ball. Trossard's already on 2 assists at this point. This could have been the hat-trick of assists for him, but we didn't have to wait long for that to happen. Now let's talk about Trossard drifting. We've seen him on the left, we've seen him in the number sort of false 9-10 position. Now let's see him linking the play on the right hand side with some real finesse from his passing. This leads to a really good chance for Gabriel Martinelli. Pick up the play with Saka on the right wing, cutting inside. Then goes to Ben White on the overlap, who links and finds Trossard inside. One of the things that I think Trossard's got is a really good awareness and ability to find a pass that maybe we didn't see with Eddie Nketiah as the 9 for Arsenal. Lovely inside run from Saka. Again, the fluidity of the right is really, really good. We're seeing some rotation with, Odegaard's usually playing right central midfield. He's sat at number 10. Trossard's gone wide. Saka's on the inside channel and Ben White is holding the width. The rotation comes. A lovely little dink ball over the top for Trossard. Saka received the play, cuts the ball back to Ben White, who finds Gabriel Martinelli at the back post, whose shot is saved by Bernd Leno. But really good football, lovely drifting and link play from Leandro Trossard as that false 9, and some really good football from Arsenal. We've seen Trossard combine on the right, we've seen him combine at number 10, we've seen him on the left wing. Now let's take a look at his movement in the channels. This of course is for the 3rd goal, for the Odegaard goal. Lovely underlap on Gabriel Martinelli, perfect first time ball for Odegaard to receive, dribble inside and fire the ball across Bernd Leno. A brilliant first half from Arsenal, 3 goals up, killed the game over. So looking at some statistics and some average positions, we can clearly see the impact of Trossard on Arsenal, the fluidity between himself and Gabriel Martinelli. Again, they're on the same line. That doesn't mean that they're playing in that central area. It means that they're spending equal amount of time on the wing as in that number 9 area, making Arsenal far more unpredictable. Trossard's statistics in the game, absolutely outstanding. A hat-trick of assists, 2 shots, completed 100% of his dribbles, created 4 chances, 2 big chances and won 100% of his tackles. Trossard signing for Arsenal is going to guarantee them the league title. Moving to other players, Gabriel Martinelli, as we mentioned, 12 Premier League goals this season, twice as many as he managed in the last campaign. He was absolutely outstanding on the left wing once again. And Gabriel at the back, solid, scored a goal. All with scores against Fulham, it seems. Won 2 out of his 3 tackles, 1 block and 2 clearances. Arsenal very much leading the Premier League right now. City's performance against Crystal Palace was quite poor, was quite sloppy. Arsenal look like they're getting better and better. And as Mikel Arteta wins his 100th game as a manager, Arsenal are sitting top of the Premier League. 5 points clear after 27 games. 11 massive games to go for Arsenal. But Trossard is going to be a key part if Arsenal go on to win the Premier League. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you are new around here, smash that subscribe button and get into the comments below. Should we continue with VAR? I've been Statman Dave. Check out SofaScore. We'll see you next time.